Hola, Mark. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for doing this, Florencia.
No, thank you.
Much
So
appreciated.
excited.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And just for a bit of transparency, folks, it's 12 o'clock UK time. We've actually been speaking off camera for 2 hours about everything. We should have probably done a podcast then. But I'm excited to share and relay some of the things that we've been talking about and some things that we haven't spoke about as well. So I think probably the first thing to start with, Florencia, do you want to talk about how we know each other and maybe kind of lead from there into what you're doing for people just now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we met back in 2015. It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Or
2016.
14,
16.
16.
4 years, yeah.
Yes. And I don't remember how we met actually, because I don't know. I think I was working in the same place as you, and then you booked a session with me. It was like that.
Yeah, it was that Simone, Totally Sound Health.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she's my friend now. And yeah, I was working in there, doing my past life regression therapy in Simone's holistic center. It was kind of holistic place.
Yeah.
So she had a few offices in there. She is so beautiful person, beautiful soul. Her husband was her ex-husband was Argentine. That's
Argentina. Yeah, yeah.
why we were,
Ah,
yeah.
there we go.
Yeah. But it was funny because her ex-husband didn't believe in spirituality at all. So that's why was something funny there in the middle between her and I. So, and then I met you, and you came for the session because you was fighting against the skin cancer.
Mm.
And you tell the rest.
Okay. Yeah, it was Simone. Yeah, it was interesting. Like we had just moved into Simone's place. Simone was a PT client of mine. And
oh, was her?
yeah, yeah. And we had, when you're on a path that you know is the right path at the time, but you're already getting the itch to go more in the aligned path. So we were subcontracting our business from Anytime Fitness, and the whole corporate gym environment was just the opposite of the ethos for our company. And I went in to speak to the owners. They were Asian owners, which is got nothing to do with anything other than they had four Anytime Fitnesses around Perth, and they had just opened 2 in Singapore. Now, one of the women owner had came to me for a session, and I'm not miscalling the lady here, but she couldn't do one sit up herself. She couldn't do one. She never had the core strength to build up. So I was thinking to myself, what really is your vested interest in fitness when you actually don't keep yourself fit? I was like, this is a real estate transaction for you. You just want multiple gyms, but you don't really care. And I can't really be in here anymore. And she said, so what are you saying? I went, I'm giving you my notice. Now, we had nothing lined up, but I'd said to Simone, she was coming in for a session. I said, Simone, sorry, can you give me just 2 minutes? I just need to go and calm myself down a little bit. I've just had a meeting with the owners. I said, I can't be here anymore. I don't know where I'm going to be, but I just feel a little bit, no. So I went to the toilet and I come back, and she said, do you want to come down and look at my space? Because I know you only do 4 to 8 people at a time. So we arranged the full shop, took in the squat rack, the kettlebells, some dumbbells, blah, blah, blah. And because I was very big in nutrition, and she had sold a lot of organic, like kidney beans and chickpeas and Celtic salt and all of that stuff, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is going to be like a one-stop shop for my clients. Fast forward a month, then I get the news I've got the cancer. And she had said, listen, I really think you should go and speak to Florencia. She said she does like past life regressions and things like that, because I think Simone had gave me a sound healing. And she said, I think you would respond more to her. She's got a beautiful energy. You will love it. Do you want me to set it up? She said, do you know much about it? I said, I don't, but hey, I've got cancer and it needs to go. So I'm open to anything. So for anyone that's listening, Florencia, that maybe past life, or some people even in current form just now in their 20s, 30s, 40s, they have difficulty looking back to their teenage years or early childhood. They don't want to look at that. So what advice would you give to people? In fact, can you just explain, first of all, what past life therapy and past life regression is, and then how it benefits people?
Yes. What I do is helping people to reach a state of consciousness, expanded, and then from that state of consciousness, be able to connect with deeper layers of their consciousness, where all the information about this life and past life is the storage. So everything that happened to us in our life, incarnated as humans, all that information is stored in our aura. But not only in the aura, also depending what impressions, so depending how the experiences will impact in our life, they will be stored in different chakras or different areas of our energy field. So that's how the energy stops flowing naturally and start to become like stuck in different areas of our energy field, in different chakras and different layers of our consciousness. And when the energy is not flowing naturally, we start to face difficulties in our journey, which is good because there is obstacles that we face in our journey caused by our own traumas are pushing us to see inside and face our own darkness. And that's the only way we have to evolve in this reality that we are living in the third dimension as humans. That's pretty much why we came to Earth, yep. to as an opportunity for growth and evolve. So as a past life therapist, what I do is just helping my clients and my students to reach an alpha state, which is a kind of a brain wave that help us to expand the consciousness, and instead of observing the information from a rational way, totally based on our fears and belief system, instead of observing everything from that side of our brain, we are observing everything from a higher perspective, from our higher self. From there, all the shields that we have built in our life, because we don't want to see the shadows, we don't want to see all the shadows inside, all the darkness, because we are very scared, because we feel that we are not capable to face that. But when we are in that beautiful state, alpha state, we are connecting with our higher self, and then from our higher self we are able to see things like specifically traumas. That's the very first stage when you do past life regression therapy. Everybody commence their journey healing the traumas. This therapy is not only for healing traumas, not at all, especially what I do, which is mainly helping light workers and starseeds to remember who they are and why they are here for. But before we get to that point in our human life, we really need to fix all the traumas, and rise our energy and also pay off the karma that we brought to this incarnation, because otherwise we won't have access to those memories that will allow us to remember what we are here for, like a higher purpose, a life mission. So my therapy in particular, and it's important for me to point this, because this isn't, when you see a person who helps you to remember a past life, is not all the same. We don't do all the same. We are all different. I have learned from Dr. Brian Weiss, and he's very popular in the United States. But based in what I have learned from him, I have channeled my own technique, which is totally based in working with spirit guides and angels. So again, you enter in that beautiful alpha state, which is an expanded consciousness state, but being assisted by your own spirit guides and angels, and many times other light workers that they are also assisting to help you to see things from another perspective and organize that energy into your aura, which in other words means healing.
Awesome. Wow, you've spoken about so much there. I think one of the questions I want to ask you is about karmic debt. So about fixing the karma and bringing that forward and balancing what we're here to do in this lifetime. But before we do that, I think I want to touch on, we spoke about a little bit before we started recording, which is, what would you say, not even so much what would you say to people that don't believe in past lives or any of that stuff, because these people just don't come into your frequency anymore. But for the people that are called to do the deeper work on themselves, that know that it's not only for themselves, but to share their gifts and share their wisdom and share the teachings and the knowledge that they've decoded and embodied into the truth. For these people that are wanting to go that path because they know that's why they're here, when they come up against a little bit of resistance from friends or family members that think you're crazy or what are you talking about, what advice would you give for those people? Because I regularly get a lot of direct messages from people that basically are saying this is the life they know that they want to live, but they're scared of what their partner's got to say about it, their friends, their parents. And I think just now with what's going on in the world, we need that collect. For the people that feel the call, we need them to step up. So what advice would you give to those that are maybe getting lower vibrational pulled back into giving up who they are and start self-doubting what their mission is?
Okay, while you was talking, I was trying to also ask to my angels to see if they want to give advice as well. Because to be honest, we are all different. So each of us, we are into our very own and particular journey. So perhaps what works for me in my life doesn't work for Mark's, and doesn't work the same for someone who is watching this video right now. So I will say that as the very first advice, have this critical thinking. Because I feel like sometimes in this field of spirituality, we are still behaving like children, and somehow following a leader or someone who tells us what to do, and we end up doing exactly the same as we do with politics, religion, or soccer teams. So it's following what everybody does, and actually this path is to remind us that we are all one, yes, in other dimensions, but in the third dimension we are all not the same. So my first advice is to remember that you need to discover what works the best for you according what's the environment where you are moving into. In different times of your life, at the moment I am 33, yes, and so at my 33s won't be the same advice for me than when I was 28 or 24. My life has changed a lot. So if you're listening to this, just be mindful that it's not the same when you are 15, 19, 20 something. My advice is to have a seat and think where I am at the moment. What stage of my life? How align or not align with the belief system that my family is giving me I am. What about my friends, my colleagues? And my second advice is to remember that all that people around us are mirrors. They are projecting a layer of who we are as well. And this is the third advice, a layer. Because I heard in spirituality, sometimes we fall in the mistake of thinking of a mirror and thinking we are all the same. Again, no. People reflect a layer of us. So it's important for us to see that other person, listen to that other person without judgments, and ask yourself, what layer he or her is reflecting? And instead of trying to change him or her, just focusing on that layer of yours. I'll give you a quick example. Let's say that I am scared of telling others, that you are in this journey of meditation, for example. Yes. So you feel like a little bit like that, and then you see your friends, and your friends are pointing out, and they are saying to you, oh, you know what, like, since you are doing this meditation thing, I don't feel comfortable with you anymore, and I feel that you judge me, or maybe you didn't judge them, but they feel judged just by your own presence. Just by your post in social media, they already feel like taking personal.
Yep.
So it's a very common thing.
Yeah.
So that's the moment when, instead of wasting your energy trying to convince your friend that no, you're actually, the post in Instagram wasn't for her or him, whatever. Your partner, sometimes your partner is the person who triggers you the most. So instead of going in there, just thinking, okay, if this person is projecting or reflecting a layer of me, how I think about myself, what's the perception I do have about myself? Do I judge myself? And if you enter into your mind, you may find that the first one thinking that you are a liar or you lying to yourself when you do the meditation is yourself. Because many times we go to the meditation, we think like, okay, this is my path, but then one layer of yours is happy and feeling, oh, this is really nice, but another layer is whispering in your ear saying, but you will come back to the same thing because you are a loser or you are whatever. Yeah, that's why I say critical thinking, listening to your own thoughts, because we have so many different voices talking at the same time, and it's super important to identify the different voices. And when you get there, you go and you try to identify where the voice comes from. So behind that voice saying something, you will find, first of all, a family member. So you will find mom or dad, or mom and dad together, And for example, myself in my own journey, I was very strong in my life. I did so many things, but that was like a more superficial layer. But deeper, I felt like maybe because I am a woman, I won't be able to do it the same as a man. And it was like a contradiction, because one voice of mine was like, yeah, I can do everything. But the other voice will come up just sometimes, not always. Maybe the whole week was this one, the strong, empower women. But this other voice will come up when something happens or triggers me, like maybe Saturday night or Tuesday, 3 o'clock when something happened. And then I come back to the empower one. But pay attention, because there was another voice coming up. So that voice will be reflected outside. every time louder until we identify that that's still here. And when I got to identify my own voice about the empowered women that I am or not, I started seeing my family tree. And I'm the only woman. All my family are men. I am the only generation of women so far. And they was too heavy, like all the men in my family. It was too much weight on my shoulder, because they never told me you are not strong enough. But I see the way they look to me. I see it. I perceive it. When they look to me like I'm a little poor thing, you know, or stupid, or there are so many things, you know, and they are in my family. And for sure, it is still here and here in my human side, not in my soul, in Florencia, this human. So when I try to track that voices, where they come from, my family tree, but when you go to past lives, I was a man. Judging woman.
Right.
So I found so many lives being a man, and not judging, because I wasn't bad. I was good, but because in the 500 after Christ, you are the man, you are the provider, or you were back in the time. If you look after your wife back in that life, you know what I mean? So because she is weak, like thousands of years ago, let's say 1,500 years ago. My wife was a weak thing, because there were no law in back in the time, very wild society. And if she goes outside and someone rape her, there's no police. I need to go there and punch all the men in the face. So I need to be strong man. You know what I mean? Makes sense what I'm saying?
Totally.
So now that I'm a woman, and depending the society, I've been in different incarnations, and some societies, some religions, cultures, for them, the woman was person who has no voice at all. They don't take decisions. Back in that time, I'm talking 1,000 years ago, which is still happening in some countries as well, but I'm not going in there. So now I'm a woman, and for sure, that deep layer that sometimes come up, and I need to heal, or I've been working and healing that, and was represented strong in my family tree. And at the very beginning, I was fighting against my family tree, angry, and thinking, I'm going to change this, you know? But at some stage, I have to understand that my family tree were representing me in my past lives. So if I'm fighting against my family tree, and all the men I come across in my life telling me that I won't be able to succeed because I'm a woman, you know, that other people were flawed in a past life, my own beliefs. So I needed to go very, very deep and change things to be able to change things in 2020.
That's awesome. It's absolutely epic. One thing I want to touch on before I ask you the burning question that I know some people will be listening to. What? She's a beautiful woman, but she was once a man? What? She had surgery? No.
I was a beautiful man.
Yeah, beautiful man. What I want to touch on there is, and you spoke about it in that amazing answer, which was in the beginning, that a lot of people were kind of like the Pied Piper syndrome. We're looking, even within spirituality, there's this contrived notion that we're looking for something outside of self. We're looking to follow that leader, that guru, go on that seminar, that retreat, rather than going internal. So I think there's a lot of different modalities there that all have their place. I'm not miscalling anything, and I use some. But when we look at the triggers and we become aware of the emotions and where the triggers stem from in this lifetime, it is one or both of our primary teachers, which is mum and papa. But then a lot of people, what I've noticed, that's as far as they can go, and they get stuck and they struggle to see the balance of what that was showing them. And it becomes this blame game. They blame, I'm this way because mum said that to me. And they don't take any responsibility for their own growth. One of the things that I've loved about the session with you was we get beyond any blame, shame, guilt, or lack of responsibility that, oh, mum and dad made me this way. When you can go back and realize, no, you've chose mum and dad to be this way because you have also been that way back when. So what would you say to, can you talk a little bit about reincarnation? Because some people may believe that what they're saying here is a woman, you've always been a woman in different past incarnations. So what would you, can you talk a little bit about that and just explain a few things? Because that will fascinate a few people.
Yes. So first of all, I wanted to say that all the information that I share in social media and my sessions and here talking with you, it's all based in what I listen from the sessions with my clients. I started working in 2011, so we're like 9 years, listening to hundreds of people. And so that's why I know that we do reincarnate in different genders, okay? Because I was listening. I also read books and all the things we do, but in my office, I just heard it from my first person. And I also channel Akashic records. So I open the Akasha and I download information. That's another source of information that I do have, from where I learned that we do change all the time, gender, and also we may have experiences in other planets, and also as some people as animals or minerals or other ways of existence. So I wanted just to clarify where the information comes from, which I reckon is always very important to check where the information comes from, and don't believe things straight away because someone beautiful and enlightened is saying that to us. Because I just feel like sharing this now. We never know the channel of the person who is downloading information, how clear is the channel. Doesn't matter how convinced is the person that is channeling Cryon or Jesus or anything, like people from Sirius or anything. And because the channel is all the time changing according to our own life in the third dimension. I could be an excellent reader, but then I may have my ups and downs, and that could affect the information that I'm downloading. Flow or anyone who's downloading energy, information. First of all, I wanted to say that. Second, so in regards of your question, yeah, we do we do change all the time according of the mission that we bring to each existence, each incarnation. So we do, like you mentioned before, we do choose our parents. That's an interesting topic because we do and we don't choose the parents. We do, not all the souls, and even ours in our past lives, we don't have always free will in the spirit world to make a decision, such of like picking what parents you want. Normally it works differently. It's not us just saying who I want to be, my mom and my dad. Doesn't work like that. There are like other spirits. This part could sound a little bit
no,
like
this
the movie, but that's the information I see from the regressions. There are like us, you know, here in planet Earth, in the third dimension as humans, there are people doing everything. People working as a doctor, working as a lawyer. They get prepared for that. That's why they do it. They get prepared, they study in uni, they get every time better and better and better, and they will take decisions according to what they are specialized with. Okay. And we allow them to make decisions for us, because they know what they do. Hopefully, if they are
I hope so.
thinking that they are doing the best,
Yeah.
and they are not corrupt and all the things that happen in the third dimension. In the spirit world, is no corruption. So souls do things because they really deserve it, because basically they have reached the vibration that they need to do what they do as a job. So people work in the spirit world and they do different things. So some people, or spirits, they are specialized in helping the souls when they are about coming back to earth and organizing the life for that soul, which involves choosing parents, family tree, the country where you have the choice to do it or not do it, but they organize everything for you because they know. Some of these people will become your spirit guide during your time on earth. So this decision is based in what you need to learn or what you need to do. Some souls will come here only for karma. Some others, especially light workers, starseeds, and they will come back to earth with a mission. They do have karma. We all have karma. Since we live in the third dimension, we are creating karma every minute, very much.
Yeah.
But then hopefully when we can manage and not create much karma, then we do what we came here to do. And then your cultural background, your religion, everything that sets your belief system was choice for you or organized for you in order to help you to achieve the mission that you brought to earth. Make sense? That was
awesome.
You asked me?
Yeah. There's lots to unpack there. What would you say, just a quick one here, but it's one of the things that kind of breaks my heart is some people don't believe they have a mission or a purpose in life. Partly because in the third dimension, they are comparing themselves to someone else in terms of magnitude of what they're doing in the world, and they think that they're minimizing themselves so they don't have a purpose. You've kind of touched on it that some people just come back here for karmic reasons. So what would you say to people that think that they don't have a purpose or a mission?
Well, there is always purpose. Even if your purpose is to pay off your karma, there is always purpose. So the question was, what I would say to people who don't believe in it,
yeah,
or
people,
they don't have it?
People that think that they don't have a mission, that they're stuck in the mundane day-to-day. I'm a mother or I'm a father, or I go to work and
Personally,
I do this.
I wouldn't say anything to them because
awesome.
People need to. We all have free will in the third dimension. So if we want to believe we are here without a purpose,
it's up to them.
That's how it is. Last night I was having a conversation with a person who thought his purpose was to have a baby. And the only thing I said was like, well, I feel like my purpose is this. Maybe this helps you to find something more apart of just being a dad, but more than that, I can't do. And this is a very, very important question. Maybe people listening to it, they may be surrounded by others who are here in automatic, pilot, like doing every day what they believe they had to do without really questioning or asking themselves, well, do I really want to do this? And it's hard for us to see people surrounding us just being totally like, zombies, just in the office all day, or just trying to buy a bigger house or make more money, and the price for that they pay is maybe being far away from the family, not learning how to love properly, you know, not enjoying life. And it's very sad for us to see that people, when they are close to us, in our family or partners, seeing them lost in what some people call the matrix. But honestly, we can't do much than be ourselves. And through our own example, we are doing a lot. Believe me, we are doing a lot, because people is observing each other all the time. Or even when you think they are not looking to you or they don't care, they do observe. I remember once I was in a dinner. First time, I think I can talk about it because these people is in Argentina. I don't think they will watch these videos in English. So I was in my first dinner, and with one of my partners, and first night for introducing the family, and Ash just said, they were in Argentina. People love meat. They love eating meat, and I don't eat meat. So all the dishes had meat in that dinner, and I felt so uncomfortable because the mother of my partner back in that time, she was like, "Oh, I don't know what to cook for you because you don't eat meat." And I was like, "Oh, it's okay. I'm full, you know."
Yeah.
And I eat a little bit of salad. And I remember in that table, I felt judged. I felt that uncomfortable. I was like, oh, you know, and I remember the other girl there, like my sister-in-law, you know, back in the time, saying, "Oh, I eat everything. I'm simple." I remember that word. I am simple. I eat everything. Everything is okay. And I thought, oh, you know, I'm not simple.
Complex.
She's vegan now. She has a business. She sells vegan products. Okay. 7 years later, I remember her saying, "I am simple," and now she's a beautiful person. Okay.
Yeah.
But I felt her pleasure saying
Yeah.
she was simple. I'm not, because I was a new one. And she has a beautiful business, and she's very successful. Yeah, and all of them are vegetarian, vegan, and everything now. So,
Planting the seed. Planting the seed. But it's true, especially
all the time.
especially with social media just now. You can't possibly track. Personally, I wouldn't want to, but who watches you and when. But they're always watching. People are always going there. And as you said, I think the greatest gift isn't what you know or what you've done or what you've not done. It's just by turning up as you in any given moment and just giving people permission to be themselves as well by you being you. It's definitely something that I'm starting to embody more and more as I go through this journey. Can you talk a little bit about, can you define karma for me? Because coming back here, weirdly, in Scotland, I have heard, I don't want to paint my country or my hometowns in a bad light, but it's quite rough and ready around here. And people, like your story, once a meat eater, now they're a vegan. People change. People reserve the free will choice to change their mind anytime they like. So the things that everybody used to do when we were younger, a little bit more immature, I would like to think people are moving beyond it. But where we live here, people have this memory of who you were way back then, and they don't really kind of let go. And then when something bad happens to you, I've heard people so many times going, that's karma. And I said, that's not karma to me, mate. Like, karma's not this, oh, I'll get you back kind of thing. And it's especially if you're celebrating the misery or demise of someone else, what's that doing for your own karma then? But a lot of people here haven't really got it. And there's this kind of contrived notion that karma is kind of getting you back in some way from a negative point of view, rather than to maybe balance your perception so that you can expand and grow. Can you tell me like what you're, obviously because you're far more experienced and qualified in the field to talk about it than what I am?
Still, I am I am simple now.
Simple is good.
I try to be simple. I try to be simple.
Simple is good.
I try to talk very easy, you know, and not going to the complex meanings, you know. It's just that's why I always give examples of my own life, you know, to try to see things from a easy point of view and being able to relate to it, because otherwise we stay too much in the theory, you know, and we stay in that state of mind that doesn't really help as well. We need to open the heart and see things in our daily life, like you mentioned before, you know. The big duty that we have or job that we have is in our daily life, not something that we are gonna do, you know, when you travel to India and you go to temple. No, it's your life tomorrow morning when you leave your house and you walk to the bus station or you drop your car somewhere. You know, that's where we are interacting with the world and paying off our karma and trying to not get more karma. So the karma is just a part of the laws that exist in this reality of the third dimension and the reality in planet Earth or Gaia, because every place that exists in the universe, they will have their own laws. So I don't want to talk about it because we live in planet Earth and we are humans and we are in the 3D. So here and now for us, watching this video and me talking here with you, the karma is part of the law of cause and effect, and basically is the energy that we do create the karma, we do create the energy when we interact all the time with everything. So every time we interact from the third dimension, which is the dimension where you are exploring the five senses, your thoughts, and we see each other, we can physically interact. So that's the third dimension. Every time we do interact, we are creating an energy. That energy is composed by thoughts, emotions, and more energy, but basically thoughts and emotions, and I want to focus on that.
Yep.
So when we do things that are not aligned with our purpose, we do create attachment to ideas, people, places, and for you to imagine that we are manifesting that energy as cords, and those cords are emanating from our chakras and attaching us to other veins, which could be other veins. I'm talking about people in the street, family, friends, people, places. My energy field could be super attached to a house, but won't be attached because just the energy. I need to feed it with my thoughts. If I'm a person who thinks that I am my house, which sounds crazy here, but there is people, they do believe they are the house. They do believe they are the house, they are the cars, they are the business. They attach themselves through their own thoughts and fears to that. So that's a form of karma, because at some stage, the real purpose is not to be here and get attached to everything. It's actually detach from everything, yes, and find a way to love unconditionally without attachment. So if we are creating attachment, we will create a reality that will force us to go through processes of detachment. And those processes of detachment are also called karma. Karma is a big word. We can't really explain karma in 2 sentences. But I want to focus on this part of the karma here for us to be more aware of what we are doing with our energy. And that's something I do work with the past life therapy, because many times we need to come back to a past life to detach from people, but mentally and emotionally as well, for sure, both. But we go there and we may have soul contracts created by us based in our emotional attachments. And I may need to come back to a past life with my mind moving with my multidimensional being and saying to that other soul, okay, I promise you, like 1,000 years ago, I have promised you I will always look after you. Yes, I have done that with that consciousness of 1,000 years ago. But with this one in 2020, I know I'm not responsible of you. I don't need to look after you. You're grown. You are mature enough. So I will break that contract. And when you do it, there is a cord or many cords linking you with that other soul, that if you end up doing a regression to break that contract, is because in 2020, that cords are holding you back to a version of yourself that is expired. You need to leave it to move forward. And that hurts. When we are attached to something or people, hurts, emotionally hurts. And when it doesn't hurt enough emotionally, because we are like, no, I'm not listening.
Yeah.
The body starts to tell you, I'm not good, I'm getting sick. So things are moving from the emotions and thoughts to the physical. That's karma. So the key for not creating karma is, wait a minute. First of all, we need to clear the karma, and this is not, I'm sorry, but it's not about listening to meditation YouTube and clearing the karma or doing a retreat of 3 days. I wish I could sell a retreat and tell you, come to my retreat, I charge you $5,000 and you fix your life forever. No.
Doesn't work.
Don't believe those gurus, because it's not true. Here, Mark, and I can tell you many years working.
I've tried. It doesn't work.
Self-healing.
Yeah.
And not enough. This is something to do daily. Not even in one session with a beautiful healer. No, it's a journey of self-healing. But again, so how we do to not create more karma while we are clearing all karma, just sticking to our soul purpose. As more we are connected with our heart and our higher self, we know what we do, and we do it without attachments. And the question always is this one: how I know that I am following my heart and not my ego or my fears? So easy. So you're doing things in your life and you feel like, I love this. Good. So where do you feel the love? That's the question. The love that you feel lasts for a few minutes, lasts for the moment you hugging someone, you eating something, you are doing something. For how long lasts that love, that sense of happiness? And the answer is, stick to the circumstances that allows you to find a state of inner peace. That kind of love. Inner peace that stays with you the whole day and doesn't depend on what other people do, or the weather, or where do you live, or if you have holidays or not, or how much money you get. Yeah, it doesn't The power is not outside, it's inside. I know it's so difficult. Yes, I know. When you find a way to get there, flow is beautiful. And that's the way I found my purpose. I am an advertising manager. I work in media for 10 years. And I knew I loved it because I love uni and stuff. But my happiness in that work will last just moments. Ups and downs, more downs than ups. But when I am doing the past life regression therapy and I'm teaching, I'm happy the whole time. Does not matter if I'm receiving money or not or whatever. Does not. I feel that I'm here with a mission and I'm doing something meaningful. And I go to sleep and I feel peace in my heart. And I'm pretty sure many people working as a doctor, gardener, many people doing things, childcare, they feel like that and they know that's the purpose. And that's the kind of love we are looking for.
If I had another mic, I would drop it. Te amo, that is beautiful, beautifully explained. But the thing behind it, I got lost in the words, Florencia. It wasn't even about, you were just in complete flow. So your energy answered the question, but hopefully people get something from the words as well, tangibly and practically there. But that is it, folks. You need to, especially just now, I think this is going to be a good little comment to make before my next question, which will bridge the gap. I think with everything that's going on just now, folks, there's no point in, we can't pretend coronavirus and COVID-19 and all child trafficking, that all these things aren't happening. They are happening. But I think the job for us as individuals as well is not to deny that, but we can't deny our love, our fulfillment, our peace, our joy within that stuff as well. We need to continue to stay on path, stay on purpose. And if you don't believe you have a purpose, I would just encourage you to find the things that you love to do for no other reason other than you love them. Start there and allow that to grow and flow and expand. And I thought it was this, but it's now leading me that way and then going that way. Just allow yourself just to be, because in doing that, we're going to allow human beings to get back to our true essence of who we are. So just now, that bridge, you spoke about the 3D reality, and we can see with your beautiful banner in the back there that we spoke about the past life therapy, but also the 5D healing. Can you talk a little bit about, well, I think we've spoken great depth and so much gold in this already, so thank you, from the third dimensional, but we're kind of at this bridge just now of the fourth dimension heading towards the fifth dimensional consciousness. Can you speak a little bit about 4D and 5D and where we're heading and what we're doing just now is playing out for that to take place?
Yes. So I'm thinking how to. So I will tell you how I found the fifth dimension. Okay. So
please.
To keep it simple. And so I am actually writing a book.
Good.
That I haven't finished, still haven't finished. And I started writing the book because I felt like I just felt like writing a book. I was receiving information in 2011. I started seeing the aura in 2010, which is the colors around people.
Yep.
And the energy that emanates from things and people. So in 2011, and mid 2010, 2011, 2012 were years where I was receiving information all the time. And it was a lot of information. I wasn't working doing this. And I had another work, another kind of friends. And I haven't had anyone to share the information I was receiving because it was too weird or crazy or I don't know. So I decided to start writing everything, all my experiences. And at some stage, I asked to my guides, well, what's the meaning of this book? And they told me is the shift of consciousness in between from the third dimension to the fourth and the fifth dimension. That's why you need to explain simple with your experiences, because I do explain this in the workshops more, a bit more like from theory, but in the book I'm explaining this, how the whole process, you know, how I live it as a Argentine woman that I am, and since 2011 that I was 23, from my 23 years old to 33, how I live it as human. And so I was wondering at the very beginning what the fifth dimension is, beyond all the information that is out there and the information I was receiving, again, from a very theoretical way to explain it. But I wanted to understand how it impacts my daily life, normal, you know, not just impress others with complex words, you know. And then I understood that when I was at the very beginning shifting all the time. I wasn't 100% of the time from living my life from the 5D consciousness. And here I will also highlight that our perception of reality is given by our consciousness. We are our consciousness, because we are not even the body. If I hurt myself and I don't feel it, because my brain, my spine is not working properly, and then I don't receive the information that I was hurt, I'm not even feeling it. So we are not this body. This body gives us information, and we are decoding the information all the time with our consciousness, right? And we need, for sure, the brain to be healthy enough to have a complete experience in the 3D and be able to interact fully in the 3D with others. So, well, I was shifting all the time. My consciousness was sometimes seeing the aura, perceiving information, and sometimes only seeing the outside. And so when the moments when I will perceive information from people, information that were not given by the people and was not based in my belief system, because I studied marketing and advertising, so I have a really good background of studying markets and understanding how people behave according to the brand that they use, what they drink, so I can very easily understand the social background and economical background and stuff, because it's what I studied in uni, and plus psychology. And so I have a lot of information, but there were information that wasn't coming from my rational mind, from my lower mind, were coming directly from people when I do eye contact, or from places that I will visit a place and I will start picking information from the place. And maybe the people, the guides in the place, they tell you, oh, this place where the people here did this, and you're like, no, I'm just picking other information from here. I'm not discussing with the guy, but inside my mind, I'm like, no, I feel like here happened something different. So every time we are connecting with information, we are operating from the consciousness, from the 4D consciousness, in the 4th dimension, which is information. It's like we get to the source. So that was my first stage, picking information, knowing how people is, and my intuition take off, because I was all the time knowing things, perceiving things, and knowing when people is lying, knowing with what people want, And I had that inner fight of, oh, but, you know, belief system, no, she looks good, I trust her, and da-da-da, but I'm perceiving something dodgy here, something not nice, you know. And at the end, I understood what was going on, you know, because at the very beginning, I wasn't really trusting my 4D consciousness and all the perception that I will have from the 4D. And all of a sudden, I wouldn't say all the time, but eventually, because I work a lot. I honestly, I work a lot in my chakras. I did many things. And I say this because I don't want people thinking that they will awake one day to another. No, we need to work a lot in our chakras, in our diet, in everything. Doesn't work like from one day to another. We're really responsible of our awakening process. Yeah. It's not God coming home and knock your door and tell you, okay, you're safe now. That's the religion. That's what the religion says, but it doesn't work like that. So at some stage, I was able to move with my consciousness in time and space. And that's the first sense that I got from the fifth dimension. When you are able to understand that time and space works in the third dimension, is a state of consciousness, but we are not that. So from the moment you are aware that that's only a perspective to live life, you start to experience the fifth dimension. When you somehow, I wouldn't use the word escape, because we don't want to escape. No, okay, that creates more resistance. So we don't want to escape of the matrix, of the 3D. No, we are here to live there, to fix it. But being able to shift to the fifth dimension, we have a panorama, like a view, bigger, expanded, to be able to see the whole picture. And because we are creators, we are manifesting all the time, but we are not aware of that. We do manifest. But when we start to be aware of the fifth dimension, we start to co-create the reality. We do co-create from the fifth dimension. That's something that The Secret, they don't tell you in the movie or the book. They just tell you about thinking things and whatever, doing the board thing, you know, which is beautiful. Like, that works. It still works, but not, you're not fully aware of what you're doing. Yeah. This is like going to the gym, you know, and just doing something that you watched on YouTube. Like, works. Yeah, but if you talk with a personal trainer and you know what exactly, you will get different results. And you won't hurt yourself. So when we are in the fifth dimension, we are totally tuning with our purpose. And from that, we are able to handcraft our reality as Florencia Mark. And when I talk about the 5D healing, well, because the healing that I perform is from the fifth dimension. So I say we because I teach it to my students. So me and all my students, we do work, and many other healers around so many people do the same as I do, maybe with other names, but it's the same. And what we do is to heal the consciousness. And for sure, if we are healing from the fifth dimension, we will get faster results than if we try to heal things from the third dimension. Because we are going to the root of the thing. I wouldn't say problem, but the obstacles that you're facing in life. Because if we heal things from the third dimension, it will repeat once and again until you find the way to fix it. Something more that I will add here. Many people do it. I mean, I learned how to do it. I learn everything. but I was doing, like, I've been studying how to do regressions, like in many different courses that I did. But when I was a children, I used to do hypnosis to my cousins, my brother. So I knew how to do it. When I was born, I just started to grow up, and I knew many things. Then I went to learn for getting my certificates, to shaping my knowledge. I'm saying this because maybe you hearing this conversation, you're listening to this, and then you're like, you know, I know how to do things. I have dreams where I see myself doing interesting things, you know, helping others and traveling between dimensions. And yeah, that's possible because many souls, we have past lives, or still our multidimensional being exist in another dimension where it's very easy for us to do that. And the only thing we do is just remembering how to do it. Make sense?
Yeah, I'm just like that. I'm listening like one of the listeners. I'm just thinking, just keep going. Don't think there's anything really to add to that, Florencia, to be honest with you. I think as you've touched on, a lot of people and what they perceive to be reality, this 3D construct that we have, think that's all that it is. And sadly, they're going by symptom rather than source. And the best way to find the source is to go to source, is to connect to divine consciousness. But just before we wrap up, where can people connect with you?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to ask me something like
No.
more metaphysical.
Oh, we'll definitely do it again. I just don't want to overcook people.
How to connect with me?
Yes. Please.
Well, now close your eyes and telepathy. That's a way to connect with
That's
me.
The best way.
Probably we connect each other in that way, because things at the end of the day happen like that, you know, in a magical way, but has an explanation. We are all connected. There are soul families and clusters, and we are very connected. And before we finish, before telling you how to contact me, I just wanted to add this little bit. We are awakening to the 5D, and something very amazing that happened in the 5D is that we connect to our cluster, and other souls that are the same as us, like soulmates. It could be a good word but soulmate is too romantic.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Just imagine that we are all the same spirit, split in many souls, and when you shift your consciousness to the 5D, you start to reconnect with them and recognizing them, and we all connect through telepathy. We talk in WhatsApp and social media, but it's just to confirm what we already have spoken in the higher dimension. But in this dimension, yes, you will find me in Instagram. My Instagram is Past Life Therapy. I'm based in Perth at the moment because I travel the world all the time. But I do online sessions. If you want to learn, do a course or something, you can ask me. And my WhatsApp is in my Instagram, and my Facebook page is Past Life Therapy and Healing.
Past Life Therapy and Healing on Facebook, and Past Life Therapy on Instagram.
Yes.
What one are you on most? Instagram?
I do both.
Do both?
I use both. Yeah, you probably will message me, and I will give you the people, and I give you my email and my number because it's easier to communicate seriously. Yes, but if you send me an inbox in my Facebook page or my Instagram, I will respond ASAP. So
perfecto.
Easy.
Florencia, thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your wisdom. Thanks for being you. I said that in the messages before we teed this up. The work you're doing is so important, and it's so appreciated by us all. So, muchas gracias.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for everyone. And I hope you have a beautiful day today. And remember to tune in with your heart and trust your intuition, and know that when you're connected to your intuition and your heart, everything that happens is part of your purpose, and you will see the magic everywhere. I promise you. Thank you. Mwah.